In the current tank meta, there are two main tank template variations, and that is a green air and a red air tank. Let's first start with a green air tank. On your green air tank, you want to have 8 heavy TDs and 10 mechanized. You can alternatively also replace the mechanized for Amtrak if you can afford it and if you have enough special force bonuses. Then for your support companies, you want to go for light tank recon, armored signal companies, flame tanks, logic companies, and armored engineer. A lot of these have very strong battalion modifiers. For example, the armored signal company. Some of you might remember in my oil template guide video, it wasn't there yet, but it has been buffed a lot with the new update. You get 5% breakthrough for your tanks though, for all of your tanks in the template as a battalion modifier, which is very strong. So you definitely want to have them. Let's now move on to the red air tank. And for the red air tank, basically not that much changes. You just want to replace one mechanized or Amtrak, whatever you're going with 2 motorized anti-air. That is just, because the extra anti-air makes it so that the breakthrough reduction from the enemy's red air is less, which is very important because breakthrough, in the current meta, you never have enough breakthrough. Never. It is very important that you have as much breakthrough as possible. The support companies stay the same, the heavy TD ratio stays the same, so otherwise not much changes. Then let's move on to the actual tank design. For the heavy tank destroyer that you want to go with, you want to go for a 3-man turret, because you want the most breakthrough possible, obviously. Then you want to go for the best heavy cannon that you have. In most cases, this will be heavy cannon 2, or later on heavy cannon 3. You definitely want to rush down your heavy cannons. Heavy cannon 1 is garbage, but if you don't have anything else and you want to do early game tanks for some reason, then go for it, I guess. For your modules afterwards, or your secondary modules, you want to have radio, the best radio that you can get, either radio 2 or radio 3. And then for all of your other modules, you just want to go for small cannons, because small cannons are just the best module other than radios that there is. For your suspension, you want to go for the reliability suspension, and you want to go for a diesel engine also for the reliability. You want to pick the cheapest armor possible, just because in the current meta you will always be able to be pierced, so armor is a big nothing burger. And then for your engine and armor clicks, you just want to max them out, however much that is. Optimally, you research armor and engine too, so you can have at least 14 engine and armor clicks. The armor clicks, you do them mainly for the breakthrough, because a lot of people are confused by this. You don't do it for the armor, you just do it for the breakthrough, because again, in the current meta, you can never have enough breakthrough. Let's now move over to the meta infantry template right now. In this section, not as much change from the last update, but there are still a few changes. So, first of all, your line infantry should still be 16 width, and I was actually mistaken in the doctrine video about the current infantry meta doctrine, in multiplayer at least. In single player, that still holds up. But in multiplayer, you definitely want to go for great war infantry, I think, because defense is just a lot more important in the new meta than I realized. Or it's a lot harder to get enough defense, rather. So, because of that, you will not have a combat width reduction in your infantry, so you will just always want to have 8 infantry battalions. A signal company, as I already explained in some of my earlier videos about the new meta, are a must-have. Like, you really need signal companies, otherwise you just don't have enough reinforce rate. Anti-air is very important if you're under red air right now, because CAS has been buffed a lot in the new update. Like, CAS is absolutely overpowered right now. And anti-tank is also, again, pretty good if you're fighting against enemy tanks. Just because anti-tank gets even more piercing now through the doctrines. Then, then for your last support companies, you have to adjust it a bit on your situation. In most scenarios, you will be fine with these support companies, but sometimes logistics are very important on areas like BARP especially, or Africa, or Asia even. I mean, honestly, logistics are pretty important in many scenarios. But for most of you, I guess you're playing like in mainland Europe, and you don't necessarily need like logistics in Western France or something. Okay, let's now move on to special forces, because here a lot changed from the last update. Okay, let's first start with what remained pretty similar. First of all, your Mountaineer template should still be just Mountaineers. You should still try to be under 33 width, because otherwise you can't fit 2 Mountaineers into a mountain time. Like your support companies, you're still pretty well off with engineers, I think, or assault engineers if you can afford it. Then what you need is light tank recon and support RT. You will realize that in basically all of these special forces, like support RT and light tank recon will be in, because they just give amazing battalion modifiers nowadays. If you go for the right doctrine, that is, at least. You should go for assault infantry for your special force builds. And then you get, like, from your From your support RT, from your light tank recon, and even from your flame tank, you get like amazing breakthrough and soft attack bonuses on your special forces. Then otherwise, again, for the last two special force or last two support doctrines, you would want to go for AA and flame tanks, as already mentioned. AA again, just because air is very important to suppress. Paratroopers are again not very meta, but if you want to go for them and actually power drop, I assume this template can power drop right here, even though it says that it can't, but that is just because they made it in a mod. For these paratroopers, you want to go for support RT, support rocket RT, support anti-air, support field hospitals, support engineers. Like, these are not great in combat because you can't put like the strongest support companies on them. You can't put flame tanks or light tank recon on them, but they're still fine. And if you just want to take over Gibraltar or something by power dropping it, they will do the job. Or if you want to do airline. Okay, let's now move to something that changed quite a bit, and that is Marines. So in my opinion, Marines nowadays should look like this. You would want to have 6 Marines and the rest filled with Rangers until you are 36 with. Why Rangers, you may ask? I think Rangers are just the greatest special force that just get added recently. Rangers have a lot of forest attack, a lot of urban attack, and they just have the best terrain stats because these are the most common terrains, right? Also, you get initiative with Rangers and some nice other buffs. For your support companies, you obviously want to go for the amphibious support company. You want to go for light tank recon again for the same reasons as previously. You want to go for support RT and flame tank for the same reason as previously. And you also want to go AA again because air is very important. Then for the last Marine template, you want to go for Mech Marines. Or, I mean, I think Ranger Marines are, in my opinion, a little bit better, but Mech Marines are also fine, especially for multiplayer lobbies. So what this is, it's just a normal Marine template, and then you fill up with 5 mechanized and 1 motorized anti-tank. Again, support companies, the same for the same reason. I don't have to elaborate that again. Why mechanized, you may ask, is it's because mechanized adds extra HP, which means you can last stand or force attack on the defense and not lose the division as fast. And also, mechanized has a lot of defense, which means that if like German tanks try to click you, the mech marines won't be clicked out as fast, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's nice to have for sure. And you also have a little bit extra breakthrough. So the mech marines are technically the better template, but they're also quite a bit more expensive. But if you can afford it, go for them. Let's now go over some of the most common plane designs right now. So first of all, the standard plane, you basically always want to do improved small airframe. They're just the best normal planes. There's also heavy fighters, which I will talk over later. They are also good, mainly for the US. But in most scenarios, just do the improved small airframe. Then for the design, it is pretty simple. You want to go for 3 heavy MGs, 1 engine 3, or if you have it, engine 4. You want to go for 1 range module, 1 self-sealing, and 1 armor plate. I would like to explain more in depth why this is a good template, but there really is not much of reasoning to it. It's just the template that trades the best, right? From the calculation. Heavy MGs are better than the other cannons. Air defense is pretty important. So yeah, there's really not much to explain here, not any variation. Fighter templates are sadly pretty boring. And then let's move over to the standard gas. So for your standard gas, you just want to have heavy bomb blocks, you want to have a range module and engine 3. Again, this is pretty boring. It is the template that just makes the most damage. If you are fighting on an air zone where your enemy can't contest and shoot down your gas, you can also go for reduced material usage, which makes your plane quite a bit cheaper, also resource-wise. This template is, again, pretty standard. There's not much variation you can do from here. You can go for some other, like you can go for basic bomb blocks in the early game. But other than that, this is just the best template. For scout planes, you want to go for, obviously, the recon module. And you want to go for as many range modules as possible, while also keeping it cheap. Yeah, the stats for your scout planes don't really matter. They will get shot down if you have them over an air zone that the enemy contests. So don't do that. You just want to use them pre-war and even during war to get as much intel as possible and possibly even an intel advantage. What is a little bit more exciting is the Heavy Fighter 3, because a lot of people have never done a Heavy Fighter 3, but as the US, that is the meta strategy. You use the research bonus that you get in your focus tree for rushing Heavy Fighter 3s, and then you can put 4 heavy MGs and 1 times 4 light MGs. Then you put 1 self-sealing, and you actually have to get jet engines through your air facility. This template actually outtrades the best fighter, so this is technically the best fighter in the game, but it's hard to research for any nation really other than the US. Yeah. So you also have some weight left. In theory, you can also go for one small MG or however that is called, like a light turret. You can do that. That should, in theory, slightly outrate it, but I'm not sure, so I didn't include that. Then, last of all, the strat bombers. That is the last air template I want to go over. And for strat bombers, it's again pretty simple. You just want to max out how much strat bombing you have, okay? So you go for the radio and the bomb sights in the bottom, and you just put the max amount of strat bombing in the top. It is pretty simple. Interwar large airframes are just as good as basically any other airframe, so you may as well just do them. Again, pretty boring stuff. The air meta is pretty simple, but yeah. Okay, let's lastly look at the meta naval designs. Again, this is a meta guide kind of. I just want to show the meta templates, and for ships, that is mainly just 2 ship types, light cruisers and super heavy battleships. If you want to build destroyers or something, go check my Navy guide. I showed some more good templates there. Alright, so let's go ahead and first look at the light cruisers. So the light cruisers are pretty simple. You just want to go for the normal light guns, and then you want to go for the secondary batteries, just because that gives a lot of light attack for pretty low IC, and also you can actually build this with the naval treaties activated, so that is pretty good. You want to have AA, you want to have fire control, and you want to have the best armor possible and the best engine possible. It is pretty simple. There's not much variation to do here. Again, pretty boring template wise. Then for your super heavy battleships, this one is a little bit more interesting, I think. You want to go for as many secondary batteries as possible, so that you can shoot down the ships basically, or the screening line of the enemy, while also shooting down some of the planes. Super heavy battleships used to be a lot more focused on AA stacking, but with the new naval targeting, I think you might even go for normal secondary batteries, but it's not clearly established yet, so I'm just gonna keep that here for now. And you obviously want super heavy batteries and the best armor that you can. You don't want to go for too many super heavy batteries, but if you can afford it, you can go for more than 2. It's just that it's very expensive, especially resource-wise. But if you want to play the US and like super civ boost the Soviets, maybe, like, then you could build something with more super heavy cannons. But yeah, I mean, these are pretty much the only meta naval templates right now. You shouldn't spam out much different. Like, you can in theory spam out submarines. I'll blend in the design, but yeah, that's it. Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I just wanted to redo this because like a few things changed from the last video. Yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye. See you.